Welcome to today's Explainer. We're diving straight into a massive financial trap that catches millions of people every single year. It's a pretty subtle trap, honestly, disguised in chrome, leather, and that intoxicating new car smell. Today, we're going to examine the core conflict between simply looking wealthy to the outside world and actually being financially free behind closed doors. We're going to break down the logic and the math to help you move completely out of everyday survival mode. Let's get right into it. Picture this. You're cruising down the highway, and you suddenly find yourself staring at the tailgate of a brand new truck that probably costs more than a lot of people's houses. You know the exact vehicle I'm talking about. The gleaming monster with chrome absolutely everywhere, massive wheels, and a monthly payment that would literally make a mortgage broker weep. We instantly tell ourselves, wow, the person behind the wheel must be incredibly successful, maybe even a millionaire. But the data? It tells a completely different story. The brutal reality is that driver is highly likely making the exact same income you do, and is often just one bad week or one missed paycheck away from a total financial collapse. So here's the crucial point. The desire to look successful is actively sabotaging your ability to actually be successful. We are calling this the new car ego crisis. Think about it. We're willingly trading away our future stability just to project an image of success today. It's a total mirage. We're using these vehicles as a kind of armor to feel significant, but as you'll see in a minute, that armor is incredibly heavy and it's completely sinking our financial futures. All right, let's jump into section 1, the brutal math of ownership and why shiny status symbols cost way more than you think. Just look at this staggering figure, $1,200. The average new car payment in America has crossed into territory that would have been considered absolutely insane just a decade ago. While average payments across the board are soaring over $700, if you're looking at those massive trucks or luxury SUVs we just talked about, those monthly payments are routinely hitting or exceeding this $1,200 mark every single month. People are essentially handing over a second rent payment just to fund their ego. And to make those massive numbers somehow work on paper, people are signing on to 7 or even 8-year loans. It's basically a financial horror movie. Let's walk through this timeline together. In year 1, the exact second you drive that new car off the dealer's lot, you get hit with the ego penalty, an immediate 20% drop in value. You haven't even pulled into your own driveway yet, and boom, you're already down thousands of dollars. Then, for the next 6 years, you're actively bleeding cash. You're paying roughly 6% interest, along with skyrocketing insurance rates, fuel, and maintenance. By year 7, the loan finally ends, but massive wealth has been permanently lost. You're still paying for a vehicle long after the excitement and the value have totally vanished. This table brilliantly illustrates the trap. Let's break down the actual math of ownership on a standard $55,000 truck. When you add up the original price, the financing interest, the routine maintenance, the gas, and the premium insurance over those 7 long years, your total cost to own balloons to a staggering $130,000. And what do you actually have to show for it at the end of the journey? A depreciated asset worth maybe 15 grand if you're lucky? You spend an absolute fortune just to own a tiny fraction of what you started with. Which brings us to this perfectly accurate summary. You haven't purchased transportation. What you've actually bought is wealth destruction with heated seats. That is exactly what that $130,000 total cost represents. You are literally burning your future wealth, but hey, at least your back is warm on the morning commute, right? Moving on to section 2. Automotive Stockholm Syndrome and the psychology behind the purchase. So, Automotive Stockholm Syndrome is an emotional attachment to a financial captor that is actively destroying your wealth. We see people violently defend a $900 or $1,200 car payment because they've convinced themselves they deserve it. You know the logic. They work hard, so they deserve the nice truck. Even if it means they're secretly eating ramen noodles at home just to afford the gas to drive it. We end up falling in love with the very thing keeping us broke. Now, to be fair, we can't take all the blame here. The automotive industry spends billions upon billions of dollars on marketing to convince you that your vehicle is a direct extension of your identity. They aren't selling you a reliable way to get to the grocery store. No way. They are selling you a fantasy. They're selling the illusion that buying this truck makes you rugged, or that buying this sports car makes you successful, and ultimately that buying their product means you are worth something as a person. They sell an identity. And as we all know, identity is something people will pay almost anything to protect. Okay, let's flip the script. Section 3, the profitable identity shift and escaping survival mode. This right here is the turning point. Let's look at how changing your path builds a completely different reality.
On path A, the standard path, you spend 130 grand over 7 years to own a deeply depreciated piece of metal worth $15,000. But alternatively, what if you took path B? What if you drove a reliable used car and invested that average $800 payment into a simple index fund? After those same 7 years, you wouldn't have a rusty, depreciated truck. You would hold over $70,000 in cold, hard cash.
And the reward for choosing Path B isn't just financial, it's literally biological. When you hit your first $10,000 or $20,000 in cash savings, your brain chemistry physically alters. Your cortisol levels, that's the hormone responsible for stress, they drop significantly. You stop waking up in a panic about an unexpected bill or a flat tire. By accumulating that cash, you move your brain permanently out of survival mode and into growth mode. You completely transform how you operate day to day because that baseline anxiety of financial ruin has just been removed. Let's wrap this up with Section 4, calculating your true freedom and building a life of actual choice. We're talking about walking away money. This is the ultimate payoff of this entire explainer. Having $70,000 in the bank gives you the power of choice. It gives you the immense confidence to walk right into your boss's office and negotiate a better salary, or to simply leave a toxic work environment entirely. You can do this without fear because you aren't desperate for next week's paycheck, just to cover the massive payment on that chrome monster sitting in your driveway. This completely shifts how we should view wealth and status out there on the road. The reality is that true wealth is freedom. That person driving the older, reliable car next to you at the stoplight, they aren't failing. They're often the ones quietly building actual choices. They're the ones with peace of mind, margin in their budget, and for sure, they are the ones who sleep a whole lot better at night. So I've got a direct challenge for you today, the 30-day Smart Money Flow Challenge. Step 1. Over the next 30 days, calculate exactly what your car is truly costing you. Not just the monthly payment, add in the premium insurance, the gas, and the maintenance. Look at the real total number. Step 2. Research the math of a reliable, used alternative. And step 3. Calculate the difference to see exactly how much freedom you could buy back if you made the shift. It's time to stop letting a monthly payment define your worth. You have a choice. You can choose to actually be wealthy instead of just looking wealthy to strangers on the highway. So I want to leave you with this provocative question to chew on. What status purchase are you walking away from this year? Think about the pure freedom you could gain by letting go of the ego penalty. Thanks for joining me for this explainer, and keep building your true wealth.